People have to wonder, where does Sunny Hostin get her opinions?
Yeah.
Like you said, and it's obviously from her husband. She has to tell her what to say on The View, because without it, she's got nothing up there. She's not very bright. But the problem with her is that she went full race.
Sunny Hostin, a prominent and polarizing voice on The View, recently found herself at the center of a controversy that seemed almost too ironic to be true. Known for her outspoken opinions on race, reparations, and identity politics, she has built a reputation as a fierce advocate for racial justice. With her strong sense of moral authority, Sunny has consistently called out social injustices. However, when she appeared on PBS's Finding Your Roots, a show that explores celebrities' genealogies, viewers expected her family history to reflect her public values. Instead, what she discovered about her ancestry shocked both her and the audience, leaving them in complete disbelief. The revelation was so unexpected, it completely upended the narrative Sunny had crafted around her own heritage.
Sunny Hostin. Sounds like a town. We're in Sunny Hostin. She was on PBS's Finding Your Roots, a show dedicated to researching celebrity ancestry. For context, Sunny is a staunch supporter of reparations and has made a fortune spewing nonsense about white privilege and racial justice. Well, turns out she's not as oppressed as she claims she is. She's actually the descendant of slave owners from...
Before we get into the drama, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for all the latest Hollywood news. Sunny Hostin, sitting across from acclaimed genealogist Henry Louis Gates Jr. on Finding Your Roots, was ready to uncover the secrets of her family tree. What she didn't expect was a bombshell revelation that would shake her to the core. Instead of uncovering a legacy of struggle and oppression, Sunny discovered that her ancestors were slave owners. Yes, you heard that right. The woman who's been a vocal advocate for reparations and critiquing the history of slavery learned that her own lineage profited from it, leaving her visibly stunned and uncomfortable.
Oh, I'm a little bit in shock. I just always thought of myself as Puerto Rican, half Puerto Rican. I didn't think I was, my family was originally from Spain and slaveholders.
Yeah. So how are you feeling, my friend?
I think it's actually pretty interesting that my husband and I have shared roots.
Yeah.
So I do appreciate that. And I think it's great for our children to know this information. I guess it's a fact of life that this is how some people made their living, on the back.
Sunny Hostin sat frozen, blinking in disbelief as she processed the bombshell revelation about her ancestors. "I didn't know my family came from Spain, or that they were slave owners," she admitted, her words faltering as she tried to make sense of the shock. For a tense moment, an awkward silence filled the room, the weight of the discovery hanging in the air. Trying to recover, Sunny awkwardly mentioned how this would make an interesting story for her children, but the damage was already done. Of course, it didn't take long for Fox News' Greg Gutfeld to dive in with his signature wit. He jokingly compared Sunny's family history to a vegan secretly owning a BBQ restaurant, causing the audience to laugh. Greg quickly seized on the irony, poking fun at the contradictions in Sunny's public persona.
People have to wonder, where does Sunny Hostin get her opinions?
Yeah.
Like you said, and it's obviously from her husband. She has to tell her what to say on The View, because without it, she's got nothing up there. She's not very bright. But the problem with her is that she went full racist. She injected skin color into a fairly generic behavior seen in all spouses, regardless of skin color. People marry, they listen to each other, they have something in common with them, they share their political views. She just didn't want to upset her husband by saying her husband makes her do everything, and then she'd have to accuse him of being a racist. Because if he told her that this is what white women do, then he's a racist.
Sunny Hostin has never been shy about calling out others for their past mistakes, but when it came to her own family history, Greg Gutfeld quickly pointed out the glaring double standard. Next time Sunny pulls the race card on The View, someone's going to remind her that at least we're not slave-owning racists, he quipped, highlighting the irony of the situation. But Greg didn't just stop at jokes. He also critiqued what many saw as Sunny's refusal to take responsibility. Instead of acknowledging the uncomfortable truth of her family's past, she brushed it off as a mere fact of life. showing no remorse or deeper reflection. Naturally, social media exploded as the news spread across Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Reactions ranged from hilarious to critical. One tweet read, "Sunny Hostin finding out her family were slave owners is the plot twist of the year." While some of her followers defended her, arguing she shouldn't be held responsible for her ancestors' actions, others were less sympathetic. "It's not about blaming her for what they did," one commenter wrote. "It's about the hypocrisy of criticizing others while ignoring your own family's history." Greg also took aim at the larger issue of identity politics, claiming it oversimplifies complex historical realities.
Quote, a lens of empathy. Debate highlights ableism in politics. Pat Fetterman can do for disability what Obama did for race.
Say what?
See, because when all else fails, use identity politics. But MSNBC's Lawrence O'Donnell went a step.
Greg Gutfeld argued that when you focus too heavily on race, you risk losing sight of the individual and the complexity of history. And eventually, it can backfire, just like it did for Sunny. He stressed the need for personal responsibility, pointing out that it's not about what your ancestors did, but about what you do now. For years, Sunny has lectured others, but this moment may force her to reflect on her own actions. The situation raises important questions. Should someone like Sunny, who frequently criticizes others for their ancestors' actions, be held to the same standard? Or is acknowledging the past enough without letting it define who you are today?
These elites are so isolated, they've forgotten that most Americans don't get paid to sit in a comfy chair pontificating about everything all day. Nope, some of us are cameramen whose names I don't know. But maybe one day when we finally strip away this phony race war, it will finally expose this elite mentality. And we'll find out Sunny is just like Marie Antoinette, except she says, "Let me eat cake."
Greg Gutfeld's panel couldn't resist having fun with Sunny's family history revelation. One co-host joked that if Sunny has been criticizing descendants of slave owners, does she now have to turn that criticism on herself? Another quipped that it's ironic how obsessed she is with identity politics when she didn't even know her own background. While the internet had a field day with memes and jokes, some suggested this could have been a chance for Sunny to have a deeper conversation about history and identity. Instead of brushing it off as just a fact of life, she could have used the moment to reflect and reevaluate her own perspective. Imagine if she'd said, "I've learned something surprising about my family, and it's making me rethink how I approach these topics." Instead, she shrugged it off, leaving even her The View co-hosts unsure how to respond. Whoopi Goldberg, known for her sharp humor, might have been tempted to crack a joke about getting Sunny coffee or asking her slave-holding ancestors for a refill.
I make fun of The View a lot, but that's only because they keep talking. Those hens are always clucking. They get to say stupid stuff for an hour every day, and then I get to say stupid stuff for an hour every day, except on purpose. But every now and then, one of those dingbats inadvertently says something that reveals modern liberal thought so perfectly it deserves further study. You know, like a weird serpent that washed up on the beach and you want to poke it with a
Ultimately, this situation is more than just about Sunny. It's a reminder of the risks of self-righteousness and the value of humility. History is complex, often messy and uncomfortable, and none of us can escape its influence. It's crucial to approach sensitive topics with grace, self-awareness, and openness to learning. As Greg Gutfeld wisely pointed out, when you spend your life searching for racism everywhere, it eventually finds you. For Sunny, that moment came through her own family's history. So what's next for her? Will she face this uncomfortable truth or act like it never happened? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain, this story will linger. And perhaps next time Sunny speaks on history, she might pause before casting stones from her glass house of ancestry. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more content.